Have you ever agreed too quickly because you did not know how to push back in English? This happens quite often, and it happens even to native English speakers. You understand the situation, you know the deadline is too short, the price is too high, the offer is too low, or the request is not realistic. But in the moment, it can be hard to find the right words. Today, I'll give you 50 negotiation phrases that help you sound clear, calm, and professional. You can use them in meetings, emails, client conversations, salary discussions, project discussions, and business agreements. Business English, or business negotiation English in particular, is not about being aggressive. It is about knowing how to protect your position with confidence and respect. Okay, if you're ready, let's get started. Welcome and welcome back to Mastering English Communication. I'm Coach Theo, your business English coach, and my job is to help you improve your professional English communication. Now, in today's lesson, we're going to focus on negotiation English, and we're going to go over 50 phrases. I'm going to provide you with 50 professional phrases you can use when you need to discuss deadlines, prices, workload, salary, project scope, or business terms. The goal is not to sound aggressive. The goal is to sound clear, confident, and respectful. Okay, let's get started. First, let's look at what the real problem is. Have you ever agreed too quickly because you didn't know how to push back? Right? You understood the problem, but you did not have the right English phrase to push back. Now, that happens to many professionals, even native speakers. And the idea that you understand the situation actually gives you the opening to understand how to negotiate in the situation. So, this lesson gives you professional language for the moment or moments when the conversation matters. And for instance, you may get a deadline. You know the deadline is too short, or the price is too high, the offer is too low, or the request is not realistic. But in the moment, it can be hard to find the right words. So, with the phrases I'm going to give you, you'll learn how to sound clear, calm, and professional at work. Now, some of you may think, well, I only negotiate every once in a while or something of that nature, right? But negotiation doesn't just happen in sales or contracts. Negotiation happens all the time at work. You may need more time, better terms, more support, clear agreement, workload. You may need to work around client requests and finally come to the proper business terms. The right phrase can help you sound professional without sounding weak or rude. So let's take a look at a simple rule. Confidence, not aggression. Confidence does not mean speaking aggressively. It means you can explain your position clearly and protect your value respectfully. Professional negotiation English should be clear, polite, specific, firm, and respectful. So, how do we start? Well, we open politely. These phrases will help you open the negotiation professionally. I'd like to discuss a few points before we finalize this. Before we move forward, I'd like to clarify a few details. I think it would be helpful to talk through the terms. Can we take a closer look at the agreement? I'd like to make sure we're aligned before making a final decision. And just a quick tip on tone. Open the conversation calmly before saying yes. Next up, asking better questions. Now, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give us a like. This one is around clarifying their position. So this is why you're asking better questions. Good negotiation begins with understanding. Can you help me understand your main concern? What is the most important thing to you in this agreement? Could you explain what you need from our side? When you say that, do you mean the timeline, the budget, or the scope? Can we clarify the priority here? And then tip on tone. Good negotiators listen before they respond. Next up, we want to state our position. So these phrases help you explain your side without sounding overly emotional. So instead of saying, we can't do that, we might say something like, from our perspective, the main issue is timing. Our concern is the impact this may have on quality. The challenge for us is the current deadline. We want to support this, but we need a workable plan. Our position is the current terms that need some adjustment. And tone, explain the business reason, not just the objection. How do we move things forward? So a strong negotiator does not only identify problems. A strong negotiator brings solutions. And these phrases help you introduce an alternative in a positive way. In other words, you're making a proposal around changing certain things. Here's what I would suggest. One possible solution would be to adjust the timeline. Could we consider a different approach? I'd like to propose an alternative. What if we handled it this way? And then tone, bring a solution, not only a problem. Next, we want to ask for flexibility. These phrases are direct, but still polite, and they're useful when you need better terms, more time, a better offer, or more realistic agreement. Notice that the language is not demanding. Is there any flexibility on the price? Can we revisit the timeline? Would you be open to adjusting the scope? Is there room to improve the offer? Could we find a more balanced arrangement? And tone, ask directly, but keep the tone professional. Next, we want to protect our position. And this may be one of the most important sections in the lesson. Many English learners either avoid pushback completely or sound too direct when they finally speak. So we want to push back, but politely. These phrases give you a professional middle ground. I understand your point, but that may be difficult for us. I see the need, but the current timeline is very tight. That may not be realistic under the current conditions. I'm concerned that this could affect the final result. We may need to reconsider that part of the request. And tone, this is the professional middle ground, remember, between silence and blunt disagreement. Next, Sometimes we need to slow things down. You do not always need to answer immediately. In fact, answering too quickly can sometimes create problems later. These phrases help you slow down the conversation professionally. In other words, buying time before deciding. I'd like to review the details before confirming. Can I take some time to think this over? Let me discuss this internally and get back to you. I don't want to give you an answer before reviewing the numbers. Could we pause here and continue after I've had a chance to review? The tone, you do not need to answer immediately. Just pause. Finding balance. Compromise does not mean giving everything away. It means finding a workable solution. These phrases help you sound cooperative while still protecting your limits. You're offering compromise. We may be able to meet halfway on this. If you can adjust the timeline, we can adjust the scope. We could consider that there is flexibility on the budget. Let's see if we can find a solution that works for both sides. We are open to compromise, but we need to be realistic on the terms. Compromise does not mean giving away everything. So that's why you want to set the right tone. Making it clear. A negotiation is not finished until the agreement is clear. These phrases help you avoid confusion later. In professional situations, it is very important to summarize what was decided. Confirming agreement. So just to confirm, we've agreed on the revised timeline. Let me summarize what we've decided. It sounds like we are aligned on the main points. Can we confirm the final terms in writing? I'll send a follow-up email to make sure everything is clear. And the tone, a negotiation is not finished until the agreement is clear. Of course, we all want things to end well, and the way you close the negotiation or the conversation matters. Even after a difficult negotiation, you want to protect the relationship. I appreciate your flexibility on this. Thank you for working through this with us. I'm glad we were able to find a workable solution. This sounds like a good path forward. Let's move ahead based on what we agreed today. Protect the relationship even after a difficult conversation. That's the tone tip. Let's practice. This example combines several negotiation skills. Your manager says, we need the full report by Friday. You know the deadline is unrealistic, but you need a professional response. I understand the urgency, but the current timeline may be difficult. My concern is that it could affect the quality of the final result. One possible solution would be to deliver the first section by Friday and complete the full version next week. Would you be open to that approach? Notice the formula. You show understanding, you explain concern, you propose a solution, and then you ask for agreement. Now, the important thing here to remember is that first you show that you understand the other person's need. Then you explain your concern professionally. After that, you offer a solution instead of simply saying no. This is the kind of response that helps you sound confident and reasonable at work. Let's review. You don't need perfect English. You need clear phrases, a calm tone, and the confidence to protect your position respectfully. So you want to be able to open difficult conversations, ask better questions, explain your position, push back politely, and confirm the agreement. We've given you 50 phrases to handle all of these situations. So before you leave the session today, choose 5 phrases from today's lesson and practice saying them out loud. And of course, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. It helps us help you as we continue on our linguistic adventure together. Take care, everyone.